Hey guys, we got Coach Ian and Will here, Somerset Combat Academy's chief instructors. So this week we're going to talk about misconceptions about training, whether it's in functional fitness, using the CrossFit style theme that's swept across America, whether it's doing the MMA stuff or jiu-jitsu or functional martial arts. And we came up with some questions here, just 10 of them real quick. We're going to hit on. That we hear a lot of. So we'll go ahead and I'll kick off with one. So Will, what do you think about this? Number one, you must have prior experience in order to train here. What do you think about that?
I think that's hilarious. But no, that's a question we get a lot actually. Is or like oh, I've never trained before. I can't. Oh, I don't want to go there. I've never trained before, or that you have to have some sort of prior training. The vast majority of the people that we get in here have no prior training, which in many ways is a good thing. So that way we can build you up from the ground up.
I mean, we had a gentleman come in last night, James. He bought his gi a couple weeks ago, and he'd been a little nervous about coming in here. And he's a perfect example. He's never trained before. Just wanting to start something new. So I could tell like the way he approached the mat. He was nervous to be a part of our class and stuff like that. And I was like, no, man, you're fine. Everybody was constantly encouraging him, and instead of just throwing him in and okay, well, we're doing omoplatas today, and here's an omoplata. He's no idea what an omoplata is or concept of.
Start him out slow. Yeah.
So
that was the guy you had to. Okay.
Yeah, we were working on lane drills, just shrimping the three different types of shrimps with him, and then once it was all over, I went through with him and explained why those shrimps were important and how it's going to help him be able to, one, get back to his feet if he needs to, and two, to be able to get somebody off of him. So yeah, we do start everybody who comes in, whether it's lifting weights or martial arts, we start everybody from the ground up. So if you have fear of that's all in your mind. I hate to say it like that, but it really is. We will take care of each and every individual person that comes in here.
Yeah, I think the quote on the wall up there,
everyone starts somewhere, and the best in the world still calls someone coach. We came up with that. That's ours. All right, we did that. Nobody else, us. All right, number two. It's a fight gym for fighters only.
Yeah, that's another huge misconception. I mean, obviously we do have a fight team here, but that's really not our main focus. That's just something additional that we do offer. But
well, I mean, the vast majority of our clients that come in here, several of them are totally honest. They've never even been in a street altercation, let alone have any interest in competing, which that's the vast majority of what we deal with.
Right. Even out of the competitive, even out of our actual competition team, the vast majority of them started out not wanting to compete. They just started training, and then eventually, oh hey, okay, I might want to compete. That's not our main focus.
I completely agree. So yes, if that's something that you're paranoid about, you have to come in, you got to fight, or
it's yeah, if you're not interested in fighting, don't show up, kind of thing. That's not true. The vast majority of people come in here to learn basic self-defense, or to get in shape.
Which, I mean, you get both with us. You learn how to defend yourself in realistic scenarios, and then as a result of that, through training, you get in better shape. All right, number three, sparring is required. Now, before we do that, let's go ahead and give a definition of what we consider sparring. So sparring is many different things. It's live rolling, it's boxing live, it's kickboxing live, it's doing everything, the mixed martial arts aspect of it live. That's not a requirement. I don't even make people roll if they don't want to.
Yeah. And that's jiu-jitsu is no actual strikes. Strikes involved, and you're not technically even required to do that. You just do the drills. So so if you're worried about if I go there I'm going to get punched in the face or something like that, that's just not. And that kind of segues into another misconception that people have.
Number four.
Yeah.
You're gonna get beat up your first day, and or we beat people up. I've heard that several times.
Many times. I'm gonna, maybe I'll get around, come over there and let you all beat me up, or it's so many people are oh, you're gonna get beat up. Oh, you can come, It's like, oh, I'll show up one of these days and you can beat me up. It's like, bro, we don't beat people up. Like,
That's a major misnomer. Now, with that said, if you want to train, you do kind of got to leave your ego at the door, because, if your first day in here, you want to roll hard and you're trying to tear your other student's head off in here. I mean, they're gonna roll back.
I mean, if you want to train hard, we can train hard, and then is there a potential that you could, get a bloody nose or something? But I think I can count on one hand maybe of the number of bloody noses we've had here. And
that's in real training,
and that's and most of them are Justin, or the same guy who just his nose bleeds. So like really like I'm going to get beat up is a total misconception. Like, the only way you're going to get beat up is if you actually want it.
I agree. What about women and kids are not encouraged?
I think that's a big thing. Like, a lot of women don't want to train. Because there's no other women there, or a lot of times women just want to train with other women, which I think is, especially if your only goal is I just want to learn how to defend myself, but I only want to train with women. Well, like the one time you're probably actually going to utilize it for self-defense is probably not going to be against another woman. It's probably going to be against a guy.
Most predators, as a whole, statistically speaking, are males. I mean, there's only been a handful of even female serial killers in the U.S. And the reality is like with what we do as functional martial arts, we're not standing in front of a mirror playing with air. You have to learn how to do this stuff with another person. Like, even if it's just drilling, there's no live stuff. Like, you have to learn how to do this stuff with another person, because that's the reality of it. If you ladies are buckling your child into a car and somebody comes up behind you, one, it's probably going to be a male. Two, you do not want that to be the first time you're ever learning how to get an underhook on a potential opponent. That's why we drill. Drilling is where us as coaches give you a movement, and then you go through and you just practice that movement on an inanimate opponent. Like, they're not. This is not live. This is just, okay, I'm getting my underhook, I'm putting my head where it needs to go, and we'll do that over and over and over again. And it could benefit you and possibly save you or your children's lives someday.
Also, like, as far as like the whole family aspect and kids, like, we are huge into family, because we got kids running around here
24/7
the entire time we're open. We got usually at least one kid in here playing or doing something. So we're a very family friendly environment.
Oh, absolutely.
Strongly encourage entire families to come in.
And I mean, that kind of ties into something later on. But because we are so family oriented, you can ask some of our members. Ed Amundsen, he's the pastor at High Street Baptist Church. His whole family signed up here. We have the single best rates in the state of Kentucky. We call around regularly. We check in with other gyms that we're affiliated with. We want to make sure that you can afford to come in here with your whole family and not have to worry about, spending a car payment every month, or, a new car payment every month, just to be able to learn how to defend yourself with your kids. But let's see. Number 6. You have to be an athlete to do functional fitness and or the CrossFit style workouts. What do you think?
Again, that's kind of hilarious. Kind of tying back to everyone starts somewhere. Like, CrossFit especially is designed to everything is scalable. Like, if you or just functional fitness in general. Like, especially the way we do it is highly scalable. Like, you don't just start out and do it. Everything, it's a building process. And so you have, like, the whole you talked about this, like, going, I got to get in shape to get in shape.
Yep.
It's what's the word I'm looking for here? It makes no sense whatsoever. Like, you come here to get in shape. Like,
I mean, I hear people say that stuff all the time, and like, I've equated it to, like, when I've invited people to church, it's like, I can't tell you how many people around here is like, I'm a sinner saved by grace, but I got to get right before I go to church. And I'm like, so you think not going to church is how you
Is
get
how you
right,
get to-
you know, so to speak. Like, so the fellowship and being around people that are like-minded and are trying to achieve the same goal as you is, in fact, how you get on the road to being, more athletic. And I'm not going to say an athlete because, if we define an athlete, what's an athlete? An athlete is a competitor. And like we've already discussed, the vast majority of our members are not competitors. Their only competition, your only competition every day you come in here, that you choose to come in here, is with yourself. We want you to be the best version of you that you can possibly be to benefit you and your life with your family through realistic functional movements. I mean, even something as simple as picking my kid up to, put him in a car or something like that. That in essence is a form of a clean and press, which we do regularly with weights in here. I'm picking groceries up off the ground. I mean, how many times have you heard people say that they've been injured? Like, I tore my muscle in my neck leaning over to pick up a broom.
Yeah.
Like, so if when we teach people stuff like that, this relates to every aspect of their life, Let's see. Number 7, everyone who is in there is in amazing shape, and we're going to embarrass you.
That kind of ties back into, you have to be an athlete to train. Like, the vast majority of the members here are not competition level athletes. They're not, they're just trying to get in shape like everyone else. You're not, and you've heard many people usually they don't come out and say it, or if they do, it's more private. But they're like, oh man, I don't want to go and get embarrassed by everybody going there. Like,
well, I mean, I'll say it. Like, I've heard that from I don't know how many law enforcement officers around here that I'm friends with, and I almost feel bad for them to a degree. Like, you're more worried about how you look day one, which makes no sense, than being safer on your job to be able to come home to your family at the end of it. Like, I was watching a video on Facebook where, one guy was backing down 4 law enforcement officers, and I'm like, guys, that's dangerous. Like, 2 of the law enforcement officers were battered and bloody, and I'm like, we want to help you. This should not be the case. If you were one of those officers and your wife was watching that video, she would be terrified to let you walk out the door the next day to go to work. Because unfortunately, nowadays, everybody's got a camera on their phone, and we want to make sure you're safe when you're on film.
I agree, and then not just for like the martial arts, but even the fitness aspect, like the same thing. Like, I don't want to go work out because they're gonna embarrass me. Like, again, it's baby steps starting out. Like, you're not gonna, and at the end, like, your only competition is yourself.
I mean, like 95% of the world cannot do a strict pull-up. We know that. We thoroughly expect that when you come in here, we're going to have to build that musculature up in order for you to be able to do it.
Exactly. Like, we don't expect you to come in here and be, an Olympic level athlete. Like, it's no one. The only people who put those expectations on you are yourself.
Right. All right. Number 8. This type of training is bad for your joints, back, and knees. And it's so funny that you brought this question up specifically because this was actually on one of my coaches that I watched, Ben Bergeron, owner of CrossFit New England. If you have a chance, please subscribe to his channel as well. But he was talking about that this week. One of his questions that he was asked was, how do we know that this style of training is going to be good for people 30, 40, 50 years from now? Because there's never been a 30, 40, 50 year CrossFitter at this point, or a functional fitness athlete.
That long, yes.
So what do you think?
Like, I would say, like, as far as like, I'm not super knowledgeable as far as like, okay, so like you strengthening these joints and so on. I can't get into that, but I will say, like, as far as like whether this training's bad for you or whether there's risk for injury. Well, okay, so if you load up a couple 100 pounds on a barbell and start moving it around, yes, there is a risk for injury there. There is, and I've heard a lot of people like, I don't want, because I don't want to get hurt, or that's bad for you. But getting in your car and driving down the road, you're getting into 1,000-pound piece of machinery and driving it 40 miles an hour. There's a risk for injury. How do you negate that? Okay, you stay in your lane, you use your turning signals, you wear seatbelts. Same thing's here. Like, you don't just come into the gym and then throw on 100 pounds and start swinging around. No, you start out small, you do baby steps, you learn how to do it, and then you have coaches there, you have cues to stop and prevent injury from occurring.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm going to be the funny guy here and equate this to a Facebook meme that I've seen on multiple fitness pages. Squats are bad for your knees. Wrong. Cupcakes are bad for your knees.
Exactly. Like the only way you're gonna ever, if you stay on your couch, yeah, sure, you're not gonna have to worry about getting injured, but you're also bad for you too.
I mean, yeah, like carrying I'm not trying to be rude, but carrying a lot of our community because of the diet scale that's been here for generations now and doesn't have the farm load to work it off like we used to. It's nothing to go walking around Walmart right now and see men, women, kids that are 40, 50, 60, 70 plus pounds overweight, and I'm like, that's really bad for your knees. That's really bad for your heart, your lungs, every aspect of your life. I mean, I wouldn't want to be 40 years old, 100 pounds overweight, and on medication to keep me alive. Like,
yeah, and then we were talking about that the other day. I did like a quick Google search, and I'm not sure the accuracy of the article, but it was listing Kentucky as like the 7th most obese, state in the U.S. with like 34.3% of the population is obese. So that's literally 1 out of 3 people is obese.
But let's go ahead and define what obese is now, because I looked this up as well. Overweight is where you're carrying 20 extra pounds of body fat, according to the Surgeon General. All right. With that said, obese is 50 pounds or more of excess body weight. So I mean, that's substantial. There's no way that's good for your health. I mean, every person watching this video right now has an aunt, uncle, cousin, mother, brother, sister that are on medication that could be negated and is shortening their life by simply coming to a place like this 2 or 3 times a week. All right, so number 9. I'd love to train, but I can't afford it. Well, we kind of covered this already. We have the single best rates in the state. I'll tell you what, we have between our fitness side and our martial arts side over 120 hours of classes a week. That means, what I mean by classes is that means you're going to be in here with 1 or more coaches hands-on working with you every single day that you're in here to make sure, 1, you stay hopefully injury-free, that you're making reasonable, meaningful, successful, and plausible goals that you set for yourself. We don't set them for you. You're not going to walk in here and we're going to go, man, we need you weighing 120 pounds in 6 months. That's ridiculous. We want you to be the best version of yourself. So what is that? Whatever you think it is. So, you know what? I'll just go ahead and say it. We have programs. Let's see. You can come into our all-access pass, $84.99 a month. You couldn't get just fitness with coaching or just martial arts anywhere in the state for $100. We're doing that for less. Everything you could want. We have people that we have a studying dietitian that trains here with us and is our head fitness coach's fiance. We tailor everything to you guys. What are some of the other packages we got?
We offering that 2 days a week jiu-jitsu, $45 a month. Like pretty much if your excuse for not coming in is because I can't afford it, it's just not true. You just don't value it that much, and you don't understand the value of what we're offering. And we're offering the fountain of youth, like literally. We're offering for you to be the best possible version of you. You just have to actually show up.
I completely agree. And
and then like Vincent was doing something. It was like, oh, we can't do your hours. Like he was like, you pay me, and I'll create the hours. I'll make it work. If so. The fact that you can't afford it is just because you don't value it. You don't want to.
I agree with that, and then something else that this is going to sound a little mean and it's going to be a little harsh, and I hope that you don't hate me for saying this, but I can't. Every single person that I've talked to that says they can't afford to come here, most of them I'm friends with on Facebook, or most of them I know on a regular basis. They always seem to find money to go eat at Mellow Mushroom, or to go buy their next carton of cigarettes, or their next roll of dip, or their 2 or 3 cases of pop a week. And the reality is if you scaled back on some of the stuff that's actually killing you, you would have no issue whatsoever paying for all access membership here. And again, that goes into valuing it. So then the question we have to kind of put back on you as viewers is, do you value yourself enough to go, man, I want to live long enough to enjoy life? Because if your lifestyle is that of fast food, cigarettes, things of that nature, and you value spending money on that more than you value taking care of yourself, I mean, sure, it'll be fun and you can party it up while you're young, but by the time you're 40 years old and you don't want to work anymore because everything in your body hurts, or you're substantially overweight, or you're on medication for blood pressure and diabetes and all the other things that afflict our community, you're going to go, man, that's like kind of, I really need help. And, it's a little, not too little too late. Like, we can still help you at that point, but it's not going to be to the same degree.
That's something me and another member, Gary, he was showing. It was like a clip from my 600-pound life. He's like, how is it even possible that people get to this point? And I was like, I think they just don't realize it until it's too late. Which, I mean, and it's, at what point do you stop and be like, I need to make a change, But back into, I can't afford it. So I know for the 6-week challenge we're offering. If you're unsatisfied with your results after the 6 weeks, if you followed everything, you have the opportunity to get your money back. If you reach your goals and you're still not satisfied, you can get your money back.
And what the 6-week challenge entails is, so you get to come in 3 times a week, and we try to group this into schedules of Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, at convenient times for you. We get here at about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. The majority of people who are interested in this come in the afternoon, and so you get 3 training sessions a week where you will be hands-on with a coach. All right, making sure that you are being successful. You will get meal programming from our studying dietitian, who's going to sit down with you and go over exactly what you want for yourself that's realistic and attainable. If you come in and say, I want to lose 60 pounds in 6 weeks, I'm going to tell you that that's not realistic and attainable. We want realistic, attainable goals. Past that, you're also going to get some martial arts equipment. Your boxing gloves, your headgear, your shin guards, your hand wraps, and a mouthpiece, to make sure that when we do our basic self-defense stuff and our circuit training over here on the mats, that you guys are prepared to do that. And then, of course, lastly, you get the opportunity to earn your money back. If you stick with everything that we're doing for you and you reach your goals, whether it's to lose 2% of your body weight, or you are already a fitness enthusiast and want to shave 30 seconds off your mile run, or something along those lines, and we reach those goals with you and you're still not happy, we will give you your money back. All right, and number 10, be willing to accept help. You want to take that one, or you want me to lead off?
I'll let you lead off.
Okay, so I've got all kinds of business cards. I purchase them in stacks. Like, I just bought, between me, Will, and Justin, about 3,000 business cards a month or so ago. And I have a stack of them in my pocket, actually. Boom, right there. I keep them with me all the time. And I'm absolutely terrified to talk to people. I was down at the lake the other day, and I hope this don't offend anybody, because I'm not trying to do that. I was down at the lake the other day with my wife and our kids, and I mean, the whole beach at PC Park was covered. The sandy area, there was not an open spot. There's probably easily 70, 80 people down there. I'm going to say that there was no one down there over the age of 15 besides my wife and I that were not obese, some of which were morbidly obese. I watched a young lady that I felt so bad for. She could not have been more than 30, and she was probably about 400 pounds. Walk from her car to her chair, which was probably only about 15 yards. And she was so out of breath and red in the face, and it was hot out. I was legitimately worried about her gasping for air from her chair. And I thought to myself, I was like, man, I wonder if I took my business card over to her and said, ma'am, my name's Ian Lawler. Here's what I do for a living. I saw you walking over here from your car, and I just want you to know that I can help you, and if you would be willing to let me help you, I would be willing to do so for free for an extended period of time, just so you could get and see the results from what we do. But I'm absolutely terrified to do something like that, because people get offended about everything. Nobody wants that, that people just, would sooner spit in my face than take the help, even if it was presented to them like that. I mean, what do you think?
That's kind of like what I said. Like how like at what point do you take a look at the mirror and be like, okay, I got to make a change. Like something's got to change. And it is sad people get offended over that.
Well, and something we watched the other day is everybody wants the pill.
Yeah. That's something I think we were just talking about earlier, and he was talking about that that one company he was talking to you about the dietitian program. Yeah. And it's like he was saying they were doing a podcast themselves, and the guy, and he's like, all you people who want quick results, well, F you, because it doesn't exist. Okay, you can be like, I want a phone that's also a lightsaber. Well,
they don't make it.
It don't make it. It's not real. It doesn't. That's not true. Like the only way you get results is hard work.
And that's true. But again, hard work is scalable. Everything is to fit you. Because somebody like me, I could define hard work as I want to be a sub 40 strict Murph. All right. Yeah. Another person who walks in here, hard work might be Coach Ian, Coach Will. I would really like to be able to walk from my car into here without being out of breath.
Yeah. Or to be able to do one push-up or something like that. Like that's like your goals are, what were you saying earlier? Like as far as whatever your goals are that are attainable, like we'll work to that. Like the only competition here is you.
I agree. And for those of you guys that are like, well, hey man, you guys as coaches are great, but I don't want your other members to make fun of me because I'm substantially overweight or I'm super out of shape or whatever.
Nobody does that.
Yeah, one, nobody does that, and
nobody
two,
would dare do that.
Yeah, the two gorillas right here. If somebody was to make fun of somebody in our gym because they were substantially overweight or incapable of doing something, and they're in here trying to bust their ass to get it, they'd have to frickin' deal with me physically. I'm not going to tolerate that, and I know my brother isn't either. So with that said, you got anything to end with? That was all 10 of them about our misconceptions about training here.
I think we covered a lot, definitely a lot of the stuff that whenever I try to talk to people or people try, that their excuses or people that are like, oh, I try to talk to this guy, but he says this, and it's just, a lot of it is just untrue, and there's, it's kind of going from the top that, like, you don't have to have experience, no one's going to make fun of you, everyone starts somewhere, come in, try it.
I'm going to piggyback on that. That's what I'm going to leave you guys with. Step outside your comfort zone. If you have never set foot in this place, one, come in and try it for free. I'm telling you right now, come in and try it for free. Once you get past that mental block that you have in your head, and a lot of people do, I know it, I understand. To this day, I still get nervous going to other gyms for cross training. Like I'm like, crap, man, these guys know I'm a pro. What if they try to tear my head off? I'm injured right now. Like,
It's normal.
Yep. Let it go. Let it go. It's not real. I know it feels real, and your perception is your reality, but it's not real. Come in, try it for free. I promise you will find nothing but welcoming arms, smiling faces, and a great time. You good, Will? All right, guys. Thank y'all very much.